Hi everyone, in this video we will quickly review 4 past tenses and how to use them para narrar procesos y cambios. And you can go look at all the videos on how to form them. We're not going to talk about how to create those tenses. We're just going to talk about how to better use them. So why do we use the 4 past tenses? They're used together to narrate processes and changes over time. They can help us establish a clear chronological sequence of events. And we have to know that each tense has a specific function. For example, the imperfect, it's used to set in the background. El pluscuamperfecto, or past perfect, to describe what happened before another past. The preterite, to stating the main completed action, something that is specific in the past and finished, and then the present perfect, el presente perfecto, connecting the past to the present. Now we're going to look at the timeline of the relationship between the 4 past tenses. And so you can see in this timeline, hacia el pasado, the action that happened the farthest away from the present tense, and then hacia el futuro, the actions that are coming in the future or towards the future. And so we start from el pluscuamperfecto. That's something that happens before the past. And in this case, you can see yo no había viajado antes. The action in the past is in the preterite, so yo viajé a Peru. So this is the past. Before my trip to Peru, I have never traveled before. Another rule, el pluscuamperfecto, the past perfect, it's always related to another past. So you use that to go to talk about an action that happened before the past you just mentioned in the sentence. And then, if we look about right now, we have now I always travel, ahora viajo siempre, so towards the future. And then in between the past, my trip to Peru, and now, we can use the present perfect from the past to now. Yo he viajado mucho más desde mi viaje al Perú. I traveled way more since my trip to Peru. And so you can see the relationship in this timeline. Now we're going to look at all of them one by one, starting from the farthest away to the most connected to the present. And we have el pluscuamperfecto. The function of the pluscuamperfecto, past perfect, is prior to the past. It describes an action that happened before another main past action. And so we can see some of the marcadores that you will see and they will tell you like, oh, most likely you're going to use the pluscuamperfecto here. So ya, antes de, todavía no. Those are used most likely with the pluscuamperfecto. And I'll give you an example here. Antes de abrir su negocio, so before opening his store, Juan ya había probado muchas recetas de café en su casa. So we know that Juan at a certain point opened the store. Before that, he was already trying recipes, coffee recipes at home. So he had already tried. That's how you will translate the pluscuamperfecto. El imperfecto. Let's look at the function. Why do we use it? It describes background details, ongoing processes, or habitual actions in the past. We also use to talk about age in the past, tenía 15 años, cuando era niño, when I was a kid. Those are all using imperfect. It's something that actions that you cannot pinpoint in a specific time in the past. Like when I was a kid, you cannot say I was a kid from this specific day to this day. And so we use imperfect. Marcadores, what do we use with that? Mientras, while, cada semana, every week, siempre. So you can see that it's really hard to describe siempre, always. And so an example still related to Juan Coffee Shop. Cuando empezó el proyecto, probaba nuevas mezclas cada semana. So we can know, so empezó, we can see that's preterite, because it's a specific point. On January 21st, 2022, Juan started this project. But then we have every week he was trying new recipe or he used to try, or he was trying. So we have imperfect because we do not know exactly how many recipes he was creating every week, how long he was spending, and so it's talking about a general term. Imperfect. Then we go to el pretérito. This is one of the two parts that comes after the pluscuamperfecto. So the main function of this is to describe the main completed actions or events that move the story forward. When we use the preterite, you can see some of those marcadores like un día, one day, ayer, yesterday, en 2023, in 2023. And so we can look here at the example. Un día remodeló un pequeño local y lo inauguró con gran asistencia. In this case, we can pinpoint the exact time when he opened the store, and so we use preterite. And then we have, moving towards the present, el presente perfecto, which connects a past action to the present. The action is still relevant or continuous. And some of the marcadores are desde entonces, hasta ahora, últimamente. And here we can keep going with the example about Juan's coffee shop. Desde entonces, ha ganado un premio por su excelente café. Since then, he has won a local award for his excellent coffee. Okay, let's do a recap about la cafetería de Juan. We have pluscuamperfecto. Antes de abrir, ya habría probado muchas recetas. Then we have imperfect, the ongoing process. Él probaba nuevas mezclas cada semana. And then we have preterite, the main event. Un día remodeló el local y lo inauguró. And then we have present perfect. Desde entonces ha ganado un premio. So the result until now. That's it for today. Adios.